The word ninja often evokes images of masked warriors leaping from shadows in high-octane action scenes, but the truth is far more humble. In reality, ninjas were often farmers or common folk, using whatever resources they had at hand to survive. What they lacked in grandeur, they made up for in stealth and cunning. With deadly precision, they struck unseen, leaving their enemies unprepared for what was to come. Today, we're going to reveal some of the hidden ninja history the general public rarely hears about. Please let us know which famous warrior group or event you'd like us to cover next by subscribing to the Reality Threads channel. Let the haunting mist begin. We're on our way to Japan. The strangest thing about ninjas is how fantastical they sound, like something out of whimsical Japanese folklore. Their clandestine warfare techniques were so advanced, they almost seemed extraterrestrial. In most cases, spying was the ninja's ultimate weapon. They would sneak into enemy territory in disguise, stealing building plans and passwords, even spreading false information. And they weren't above sabotage, most often by setting fires. They also caused a stir. Because they avoided direct confrontation, ninjas were seen as beneath the dignity of the samurai. To sum it up, ninjas lived the life of guerrilla fighters. They came from lesser, less prosperous clans that lacked the resources to raise a formidable army. Like modern-day insurgents, they relied on what we now call asymmetrical warfare, ambushes, infiltration, and sabotage. There are signs that ninjas may have existed as early as the 12th century, but no one knows exactly when they first appeared. In the 15th century, during the Sengoku period, also known as the Age of Warring States, ninjas came into their own. The Iga and Koga clans, two of the most renowned ninja families, were in their prime during this era. Still, as with all things, there's a shadow to every light. The ninja warriors may have been victorious, but the Meiji Restoration, in its drive to modernize Japan, abolished the feudal system that supported them, despite their prominence in folktales. There are few historical records of the ninja. Japanese religious historian Stephen Turnbull argues, this is because they were a tough, working-class fighting force, drawn from the lower rungs of society. Some sources trace the term ninja all the way back to the 4th century, to Prince Yamato Takeru. According to the Kojiki, an ancient chronicle of Japanese myths and legends, Takeru murdered 2 Kumaso chiefs while disguised as a beautiful young woman. Naturally, we should note that these accounts come from a prehistoric era of Japanese history. However, documented ninja-style espionage begins in the 6th century, under Prince Shotoku's command. One young spy, Koharumaru, was reportedly assassinated in the 10th century for spying on the rebel Taira no Masakado. Even in the lawless early days, these sneaky tactics were already controversial. The term ninja became iconic thanks to the film industry, but if we're being accurate, shinobi is the better word. The earliest known use of shinobi comes from the Manyoshu, the oldest surviving anthology of Japanese waka poetry, dating back to the late 8th century. The full name is Shinobi no Mono, but over time, it was shortened simply to shinobi, which made it easier to remember. Shinobi means to steal away or to hide, from which we get the meaning to forbear. That's why secrecy and staying unnoticed play such a crucial role. Mono means one person, self-explanatory. Interestingly, if you want to be historically accurate, you didn't even use the word ninja very often. To describe what we now understand as a ninja, different slang terms developed across regions. Phrases like one who sees, a cock on the roof, ruffian, grass, and one from Iga were all in use alongside shinobi. Whatever you call them, shinobi or ninja, the meaning remains the same. We already mentioned the Iga and Koga families. These two lineages hail from the Iga province and the Koka region, the latter named after a small village in what is now Shiga Prefecture. Perhaps the dense woods and mountains surrounding them helped shape the ninja's secretive nature. Thanks to this isolation, both communities were able to refine their espionage skills in relative peace. To be fair, other ninja groups existed too, but those from Iga and Koga stood apart. They weren't just mercenaries or spies like some samurai who dabbled in covert work. They were elite, highly specialized. These individuals are considered masters of their craft. During the Sengoku era, 1467 to 1568, ninja combat skills really began to flourish. Warring factions hired them for espionage, raiding, arson, sabotage, and even acts we might today call terrorism. They were especially adept at infiltrating castles. By contrast, samurai followed a strict code of conduct that demanded facing enemies head-on. This is one reason why many samurai looked down on ninja tactics. Today, we call the ninja's unconventional arsenal ninjutsu, a form of guerrilla warfare rooted in strategy, misdirection, and stealth. The first formal ninja training schools began in the mid-15th century. Some samurai families began focusing on clandestine warfare, espionage, sabotage, and assassination, and raised their children to master these arts. Like the samurai, ninjas were born into their profession. They carefully passed down their traditions from one generation to the next. Some historians believe that most ninjas didn't go through rigorous martial arts training, except for a few exceptional samurai turned ninja. Not all ninjas undertook spiritual training, but some incorporated the shugendo system into their early initiations. Those who did were pushed to their physical and mental limits. They trained by marching for miles through forests, building endurance and sitting beneath freezing waterfalls to hone their mental focus and stamina. Popular culture, especially those cheesy ninja flicks from the 1980s, shows ninjas dressed in sleek black jumpsuits, masked and armed with throwing stars tucked in hidden compartments. But in truth, ninja clothing was far more practical. They didn't wear all black suits to vanish into the night. In fact, when moving stealthily under the cover of darkness, they typically wore navy blue. That's right. Dark blue blends better into the shadows than black. Most of the time, a ninja wouldn't look out of place at all. They blended in by dressing as street performers, monks, merchants, and even humble farmers. Our iconic image of the catsuit-wearing ninja actually comes from kabuki theater. And of course, modern pop culture has immortalized the ninja as a thrower of stars, fast, silent, and deadly. Their legend grew so strong in the 1980s that the back covers of martial arts magazines even offered throwing stars for sale to children. Hollywood, of course, embellished the origin story behind these thin metal discs with pointed edges. In reality, ninjas did use stars, but they called them shuriken, which translates directly as hidden hand blade. These concealed blades were actually small daggers used to create a distraction or cause confusion. Some shuriken were mass-produced, but others were just improvised weapons, crafted from whatever the ninja could find around the farm. And if we're being honest, the throwing stars we picture today weren't even a primary ninja weapon. In fact, shuriken were more commonly used by samurai and ashigaru, the foot soldiers, than by ninjas themselves. As time went on, people began to learn the ninja way. To defend against silent assassins, potential victims started employing creative countermeasures. Some would stash weapons in bathrooms, a la Michael Corleone, or hide firearms beneath removable floorboards. They outfitted buildings with secret traps, tripwires, and alarm bells. Japanese castles, too, were designed with defense against infiltration in mind. Their winding paths led through maze-like corridors built to disorient intruders. Take Himeji Castle, for example. Its passages are filled with blind spots and peepholes built right into the walls. In Kyoto's Nijo Castle, you'll find what are known as nightingale floors. These floors were designed with metal hinges that squeaked loudly when stepped on. An early warning system against intruders. Pebbles crunched underfoot in the paved yards outside, making stealth nearly impossible. And even if a ninja succeeded in setting the estate ablaze, many castles were constructed in disconnected sections, allowing fires to be easily contained. Today, Japan has even revived the ninja as tourist attractions, celebrating their fame and mystique. Looking back on your childhood, what did you dream of becoming? We fancied ourselves ninjas. Please use the comment section to share what you imagined. And if you enjoyed this one, check out more of our films here on Reality Threads.